Hello and welcome to Autocar Dialogues presented by Indusind General Insurance. This is the time of the year where the Autocar Awards happen, and around this time we have this series of panel discussions where we bring together dealer principals from across the country to discuss the trends, the challenges and the opportunities faced by the Indian automotive industry. We begin this series by discussing a very important topic, the manpower crisis that we're seeing today. How difficult is it to get manpower? How difficult is it to retain them and train them? Well, who better to discuss all of this with us than the dealer principals from across the country? And we have with us today Mr. Naveen Kumar Sarawgi. He's the dealer principal of Bimal Group. Mr. Giridhar Rajkumar, he's the dealer principal of Saisha Group, and he's also the vice president of FADA. We also have with us Mr. Mandeep Dhingra, who is the dealer principal of Dhingra Group. Welcome, gentlemen, and a real pleasure to have you here to discuss this with us. How difficult is it with this younger generation faced with a world of opportunities to actually get new talent interested in being involved with dealerships?
Well, as you said, the talent is the most important or the backbone of any business. And yes, it is a great struggle today at the dealership level. As in, there is a lot of inter-trade and within the trade poaching happening a lot. So at least we have to fill in the gap, not just by transferring one talent from one dealership to other, whereas we have to have more skilled or talent availability to ensure that we are addressing the issue. So talent is the most important factor at any of the touch points we have.
So the biggest issue today is that, as you rightly said, the youngsters or the undergrads, they never have consideration to join an auto retail business. So even from the technical side, if I'm talk about, even guys who are doing ITI, even they don't want to join auto retail dealerships. They're actually eyeing joining OEMs, wherein the pay scale is same. We employ people without displacing them from their hometowns. So generally, whomsoever we employ, they are being employed in their hometown itself. So they're not getting displaced.
Yeah, with an OEM, they would have to shift.
So I guess there is a more kind of a awareness kind of a campaign which needs to be run, because see, the kind of money which is there today in auto retail business, be it from the sales consultant level to a general manager level, is phenomenal. The pay scales have really gone up. We've got a lot of variable pay scales available today with us. So the opportunity is there for youngsters. Only thing is that it needs to be in their consideration. They should probably get into that fold that I want to get into auto retail business, because youngsters, if you talk about, they are very keen as far as auto is concerned. They're quite interested in knowing about the new trends which is going, whether or not they're buying a car or not, or buying any vehicle or not. But doing joining the auto retail business, then it's a different perspective altogether.
Where do you think that shine is missing for this younger generation? That why is it that at one point working in an auto dealership was considered a great thing. It was their stepping stone to anything automotive. Where do you think it's lost that shine, and why? What do you think is needed to actually regenerate that interest?
I think one trade which has overshadowed the auto retail business is the real estate, where there is low-hanging money, and it's more than what we are currently paying. Although the cost of our employees are quite high, still, the kind of money which is lying in real estate trade, coming in from NCR, there's a lot of real estate development happening. So that's an easy hunt for them. They are picking up the people from luxury and as well as from the masses of auto retail, because they see that they are well-groomed and well-trained, who know more of selling. So that is where we are losing a lot of talent. So I think we need to probably take a lot of assistance from OEMs as well, where they need to assist us in grooming and training the manpower. So once they do it at the OEM level, they feel more of priority, or maybe of more of seasonality that they
or a sense of pride, I think.
Yes. I think the auto retail, like Sai mentioned, is really not a career of choice when somebody is in college or about to graduate. So I think the charm of automobiles, the charm of cars gets them into the door, but then they really don't want to work for longer for whatever reason. And I think as dealerships, we keep looking for smarter people who can really make an impact, who can talk to a customer at a level of somebody who is buying 20-30 lakh rupee worth of car. That smart guy has got a lot of opportunity outside as well, whether it's startups or whether it's real estate like you mentioned and so many other opportunities. So the difficulty is also to get smarter guys into the dealership, but also to retain them as well.
I guess one more point over here is that from the OEM level and even from the dealership side, generally if I'm opening a new outlet, if we are opening a new dealership, we generally try to source manpower which is already trained. We always want experienced people at our dealership. The OEM will insist that you should keep experienced people. So it's more of encouraging poaching from the dealership. We never go to a university and tell them, boss, we want to come to your campus for hiring people. We never go and educate people that there is a career which is there in the auto retail industry. I think that's one of the key thing which is missing.
I was just about to ask you that question next, that how do you train this talent? You're saying smart, but what if it's fresh talent? How do you train them? So I see that that's a big gray area at the moment.
The bandwidth of time is so small. I think we are on the treadmill to be able to sell all the time, that you really don't have the time to give somebody, groom them and give them the length of time that requires them to become mature enough to be able to handle customers who are also so much more knowledgeable and experienced today.
Rather, we are also in touch base with a lot of OEMs where we are telling them that such programs or such module can be brought to the universities level, where we can have a specialized program. Because see, we need to have a funnel. I mean, if we have a funnel which has a lot of pipelines in it, so then ideally this problem can be addressed most of the time. But if you have a lower funnel and you don't have any manpower which is matching your requirements, then you compromise. You don't have any option, because as they said, I mean, the easiest way to get a job is auto retail, and that is where they build up their resumes and then they look for alternates for a better job improvement.
But what's the hesitation? Let me understand this correctly. What is in most other areas, like say for example the Autocar office, the way a person comes in, he can't get in and test drive a car tomorrow and review it and put it out, right? So you have an internship program where he comes in and he gets trained by working with someone. So what's the hesitation to have maybe the second layer, as I'm understanding, because as I understand from you, the guy has to come in and begin selling on day one. So what's the restriction, what holds back and a sort of a lower or second level of person over there?
I think if I look at from a dealership's perspective, especially from the perspective of a profit and loss, give or take almost 50% of a dealership's cost is manpower, and on the whole you are working on a 1.5–2% margin, which is very, very thin. So you really don't have the bandwidth to be able to sustain a layer of people to whom you can groom but who are not really revenue wise productive. So that bandwidth really does not exist with a dealer. So I think that's a chicken and egg story where you can't have it either ways.
And is there a certain, like, do the OEMs, sort of have a certain formula on the way they expect you to hire manpower and the amount of manpower you need in a dealership to run?
Exactly. I mean, it happens with all the OEMs because they have certain criteria, as in, I mean, they have to be trained to attend a luxury or maybe a mass segment. So they need to be trained and groomed as well. I mean, because they are the people who are building up the brand in the market. So they have to be trained, and obviously there is a certain number of people you have to have in the system to address the total volume or the targets you have.
So what I'll just like to add over here is, so most of the OEMs, yes, they, as he rightly said, they have a formula. So if you talk about from sales side, so a consultant will sell at max 4 vehicles. So if my target is 100, I need to have at least 25 consultants with me at any given time. And they never talk about whether that dealership is actually, their consultants are selling 4 cars, or they're at 3 cars, or probably they're at 6 cars. So it's just formula driven. It has to be, see, it's a big region in India. It has to be region wise, it has to be dealership wise. If a dealership is able to retain their sources, if in that particular dealership a consultant is doing 6 cars, 7 cars, probably they have an upside of going up to 10 cars, hire only 10 or 12 people at the dealership. Let those consultants make more money. They will stick with the dealership for a longer time. Same goes for service. A service advisor is supposed to handle 4 or 5 cars a day. Now, if I have a good service advisor who can handle probably 10 cars, his variable or his incentives would be much higher. I'll be able to retain him. I'll be able to give him more salary. But no, it has to be formula driven. So because it is formula driven, we are not able to hold on the good talent, I should say. So not everyone you're going to make him a manager. Na? If you have a good sales consultant, you're not going to make him a manager. Correct. If you see the developed markets, the consultants make more money even than the general manager over there. So the and they don't want to step into the shoe of a general manager. They're more okay. They're more okay to work as a sales consultant, get a lower pay scale, but a variable on a higher incentives.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just talk about the training part. I think a lot of the training is very technical or supposed to be technical, which really is forgotten also very quickly. And a lot of this information on which the consultants or even technicians are trained is almost always available with the customer as well. So it's just about knowing the lingo. However, the basic skills of selling, to be able to build relationships, to be able to, a technician can, solve a problem, but he puts a greased hand on a car, he creates a bigger problem than what the car came in with, So these are a lot more that needs to be trained beyond just the technical spec sheets. So I think if you, you step into a 5-star hotel, there is a very set expectation that you have right from the moment you enter the gate, right up to the reception. You know what to expect, and there's a minimum that is there because of the basic training that has been given. It's not technical, but it's the feel that you have. You go to a luxury brand showroom for any clothing, you see those people wearing that and experiencing that as well. I think the connect that you need today to be able to sell the brand, to be able to sell the story, I think that, and the time that's probably required to be able to get our teams up to that is where I think there's a larger missing link.
The idea is to evolve our training process. The old school kind of a thing that wherein we send our people to the OEMs to their for in physical training. You can do it when a new model is being launched. You can do it for your service side wherein they have to do hands-on work as far as the training is concerned. But for maximum number of manpower, it can be done online, and it should be an evolving kind of a thing which is supposed to be done either on a monthly basis, as he talked about hospitality industry. Now there the training process evolves on a daily basis. Daily basis those people are groomed, they're taught if they're doing something wrong, there's a hand-holding process which is done with them. So same needs to be done in our industry also, but we should use the technology now as far as training is concerned, which is available with us, but somehow I don't know why, but we're still not to the point where we're using that technology. Now if you talk about the kind of technology which is getting evolved as far as cars are concerned, the customers who walk in, courtesy you guys, they know more than us. So even our consultant is not aware of the change in technology or the new vehicle which is coming in, what kind of new additional technology it is bringing in. So that kind of evolving needs to be done with our team also on a regular basis.
So what you're saying is from the OEM side, there isn't a kind of a review system where they kind of review how much the salespeople or the staff in the entire dealership knows, and then up their skills by seeing what's missing and where the missing links are, whether it's finesse, whether it's training, whether it's new knowledge. I think there needs to be a kind of review system where okay, this guy he's selling 3 cars instead of 4, or this, he can up his skills. So you need someone to be judging that and being able to enhance their skills.
So basically, few manufacturers have already started this practice of evaluating the sales performance by various knowledge tests. So as in, they try and conduct some tests at the dealership level where they also feel that what's going wrong at the dealership level, whether the manpower you have hired is not up to the mark, still not coping up with the requirements. So that is what they are doing at the moment, but it's just that it has to be done at a much higher level or much large scale where you test or trained the people we are hiring, because once they getting the required training, at the dealership level, they might not take it at a very serious level, but if the OEMs get involved, they take it at a very serious level, and hence it has to be a hand-in-hand effort from OEM and the dealership both, that we have to address this attrition issue. And that's the biggest challenge today in the auto industry, I believe.
Attrition and poaching is one of the biggest challenge. And why I think it's one of the biggest challenges, because we are not preempting the number of consultants that we require at the dealership. See, last calendar year we did 28 million vehicles across India. Are we thinking about how many vehicles we going to service this year? how many service advisors we would require at our dealership? Are we upskilling our service advisors so that instead of them handling 5 cars, they can handle 6 cars, 7 cars? Are we doing that? Are we investing in them? No. Neither from the dealership side nor from the OEM side. So I think the crux of the issue is that we need to preempt that what is the kind of manpower requirement we need to have, how much opportunity we have within the existing manpower, what scale we can take them to for the existing manpower, at what scale we can take them, and what is the fresh talent we want to get into the industry.
So yeah, as I understand, and when we talk about attrition, is there attrition mainly within the industry, or do you find people just stepping out and going into other jobs as well? Because like I said, there's a world of opportunity.
I think it's both. I mean, as you mentioned, I mean, the startup point guy picking up a job in auto retail is very easy because they know that there ample requirement because the volumes are growing every year, the number of OEMs are growing every year. So it's just that, I mean, they feel that the easiest way to get into a job is the auto retail. And then they start looking for more opportunities. As I mentioned, coming in from NCR, I see a lot of real estate development happening, and people are being pushed from our dealerships into the real estate. That's the major issue we are facing at the current moment.
I think we are a very soft target, like what you mentioned. We are very soft target. People who can handle customers, correct. And very easy to.
That means that we need to give we need to show the growth path, correct, to the people who are actually working with us, which is missing at the dealership level. That's probably our responsibility. That's what I personally feel.
I have a thing here that I say that if the automobile goes into the blood of a salesperson, he will be in the industry. He may change dealerships, but typically if they survive that a year or 18 months, maybe 2 years, then they largely tend to stick to the industry. If before that they have got some hands-on experience, they may change the industry and maybe exit the dealership.
With all the poaching and attrition that's been happening, and as I hear that it's a very large problem within the industry, has the cost of manpower risen a lot?
It's gone high, like like the high rises we are building up in NCR. So the cost is going up day by day. As he mentioned, we are sitting on the same margins where we operated long way back. However, the sales guy who used to take 50K, 6, 7 years before, now, we are paying him 1.5 lakhs every month. So plus there is huge number of variables. So the cost is going up. Plus, we are trying our best to retain those talent we have. As he mentioned, we can have people who are able to sell 10 cars a month. So why to retain a guy who is selling only 2 cars for you a month? So, but problem is they still have a lot of aspiration. We are trying to cope up with their aspiration, but still, there is a lot to.
From the different perspective, from a mass market dealership like us, we are required to have more than 300 salespeople, and our average salaries are somewhere between 20 and 25,000 rupees, which is the fixed salary plus the incentive. At that level, the motivation for a long-term perspective is very low, and unfortunately, because of the quantity of people that we need to have, you really, and the margin trade-off that you need to do, it's very difficult to really change that unless it changes good for the industry. And the other is that in the OEM perspective, the customer perspective, the dealership perspective, and the salesperson or the employee perspective sometimes are very divergent. So on the face, I may say that yes, you need to obviously care for the customer, find out his needs, find out his requirement, and the same breath I would say this is the stock that we have, I need to be pushed by the end of the week. So you have both the quandrums going together.
So there's a pressure from all sides on the dealer to sell the product and keep the consumer completely happy, which is not something that's sometimes comes together as I see it. But what is when you say rising manpower cost, what is the effect on the final consumer? Because I guess that if you guys are paying more, the consumer has to pay more somewhere, right? So does this all translate? Is this all translating down to the consumer in some sense?
Not really at the moment. Everything has to be aligned with the OEM. So for example, if the labor cost has to go up because of the rise in labor prices in service stations. So we are trying to convince OEMs to increase the labor prices. However, it is up to their discretion because we have to work on a set process or procedure where we cannot charge anything and everything to our customer.
So as dealers raising the cost to the consumer is not in our hands.
It's not, but
be it value-added services, be it anything. You talk about service. even charging pickup and drop charges, we're supposed to take permission from our OEMs for that. So we can't probably recover the cost from the customers too easily. It has to be driven by the OEM. We'll be dependent on them. But yes, you're absolutely right. The cost has gone up and is actually going up day by day.
If the cost goes up, very typically, then you would hire at a lower cost, or reduce the standard or the quality. Example would be if you are shopping for vegetables, as simple as that. You go to a nice Nature's Basket or some store. It's a very nicely laid out store. You pick up something, you go to the cashier, you pay, and you come out, and that's what you signed up for. Same thing, you go for the same vegetable, you go to a roadside person, then you get down to selection, you get down to bargaining, you do all of that. So you change your behavior based on the person whom you are buying from. I think today our customers somewhere unfortunately also have to do the same, because they do not know what kind of salesperson they will be faced with, whether they are very newbie, experienced, not so experienced, language challenges sometimes, and all of a sudden they need to kind of figure, how do I
bridge
this gap between the salesperson. So we are probably a step behind the customer at this stage, and I think that's something that we really need to bridge quickly, so that we come up to the expectations of a.
If you see our industry,
sorry, I'll just take a second more. You go to a doctor today, the patient goes with all the information that I've searched on Google. My stomach is paining, so do I have cancer, or do I have a bad stomach for anything? So the customer today comes to a dealership with a load of questions. They have all the information, lots of questions, and today you are really expected to answer them honestly, right, and upfront. You can't really not answer them or answer them vaguely and get away with it.
See, the manpower which we are looking at today, or which we want to actually hire, it's a totally different perspective. As far as sales is concerned, we want a graduate, probably who can ride or who can drive a vehicle. That's the bare minimum qualification. His communication should be clear. His background should be okay. That's these are the basic parameters we need. Then probably we have to train that guy as far as the auto is concerned. The competition, our product vis-a-vis the competition, because a sales consultant has to sell insurance, has to sell finance, has to sell vehicle, has to sell value-added services, accessories, everything bundled up. So it is the ownership is on us and the OEM. Now, how many training centers do we have in India who are actually doing this? None, yeah. So from ASDC and FADA today, we've combined jointly, we're asking dealerships to open training centers in each of these cities across India, so that we can develop a pool out of which all the co-dealers can pick up the trained people, trained talent from that pool. Unless and until we get into that level, we'll not be able to solve this juggle. We'll keep on increasing the cost of manpower, but it has to be driven jointly. See, if you tell a dealer to do it on his own, with the kind of cost pressure today we are in, we'll not be able to do it. So we need support from OEM. Even if the government wants to pitch in, they're more than welcome to do that, because employment is one of the key aspects for the government also. So it has to be a joint, combined effort. If you're able to do that, we're going to solve this puzzle. Otherwise, it's going to get complicated day by day.
Yeah.
The one best practice, what we are doing at our dealership level is, at group level, we have in-house trainers. So what we are doing is, obviously there is training happening from different OEMs we work with, but still we have our in-house trainer who is responsible to do different trainings from the induction till the time he's on the foot. So we are doing different programs where we try to groom them to how to face the market today. And also we keep on doing some programs where we do a lot of motivation program for them. So we are doing all the best practices we can do to retain our best resources. But still, this issue has to be addressed largely, overall.
It seems to be a really challenging job as far as I can see. But on a lighter note, let me talk about, as dealer principals, how difficult is it to get your own second generation involved in your business? To have a sustainable pipeline of running the business, and that is also in a certain way manpower, right? Like, who takes it over, who's going to add value? How easy or difficult is it for the next generation to be? Do your kids want to join the business or not? So
I come from an automobile background family. We have been into the auto business for a good 50-60 years now. So even my elder generation also asked me the same question, but it came out as a passion. So if you are passionate for your business, so I think nothing stops you. Same is like goes with my son. I mean, he's too young though. I mean, he's 15 years, but his passion is to join my business, auto dealerships. So he's very excited because he loves car. He loves driving the cars. So he has that passion towards auto business. I think you have to generate that passion within your family. That why auto business, although the margins are not so great, to that is motivating you. But I mean, as a respect or I mean, as a value for your business card, it gives you a lot of kick. So it is motivating for the young industry.
So I guess Mr. Dhingra is an exception because we've been seeing across India, next gen doesn't want to come. They don't want to sweat. They've heard about stories. They've read about people making getting into making billions of dollars, creating companies overnight. They don't want to sweat the way we do. They say that it is not worth the kind of pain and the money and the time that we spend at the dealership, and when the money that we make out of the business. So they don't get that glamour or that glitter which he's talking about. They don't see that. So we've been doing a lot of programs for the next gen to get them into the business, tell them what exactly the business is all about, how it's going to evolve, and what India, because today India is at the cusp, because we talk about that in next 6 years, 7 years, whatever we are doing today, it might go at least 3 times. So if we sold 28 million, we're talking about what, 70, 80 million or even 100 million units that we're going to sell. So imagine the kind of industry that we're going to be. But yes, you're absolutely right. We need to do something for the next gen so that even they should get interested in joining our business.
I think it's an exciting business. It's a business that really you learn a lot in this business. You get to travel the world, make great friends across the country. I don't know of any city that I can get into and not meet a dealer friend there. So I probably can meet a few dealer friends tonight as well. So it's from a networking perspective, from within your own city, from the kind of customers that you meet, the kind of network connections that you can make, is incredible business. It's a great long-term real estate business from one perspective. If the kids see it positively, and I do interact with a lot of youngsters, and I tell them that it's not about the daily grind, it's about the fine-tuning of the business that you need to get involved as dealer principals. And I think that's a very exciting part of the business. And unlike how I'm also a second generation into the business, how my dad used to do the business versus what I did, I think my kids will do it probably even more smarter. They will use a lot more technology, a lot more AI and so forth, so that they're able to do a lot of these analytics and the business acumen that they needs to will come out of data. I think the harder part is the people management, coming back to the same topic.
Oh yeah, I one of the FADA training sessions with the next generation, I remember giving a talk and having a little module and capsule, and it was wonderful listening to their ideas, and I think they're brimming with ideas.
Absolutely,
like you said, it's about generating the passion and bringing that next gen in, and maybe they'll find better ways of keeping the manpower and preventing the attrition and in the business. I hear it's a big challenge, as we've heard on this panel today. Very interesting things brought up. But I think the key takeaway really is that dealers, OEM, and maybe even government agencies need to come together to address the manpower crisis that we are facing in the automotive dealership industry today. And I think even OEMs face a similar crisis. It's not just dealership level. The automotive industry is growing at a massive pace, and the manpower for it is just not enough.